Sports here with you on Sports Talk 1230. Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, on a Friday, the Weekend Big Show. We do it every Friday here for you on Sports Talk 1230, streaming live on Facebook at Sports Talk 1230 and live online at lawdogsports.com. Chuck Ramsey, Jeremy Schroder, the master of the airways, and from LoneStarSportsDaily.com, Texas, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and Times Record News doing a lot of high school football previews, Cory Hogue. How are you doing, Cory?
I'm doing great, Chuck. It is time to get football going, and I'm ready. I'm ready to have another interview that I've been waiting for on this one.
Well, and Jeremy, hope you're doing all right too. And we talk a lot of sports here. We got a lot to get into today, but you're correct, Cory, as we are welcoming maybe the most positive coach that we'll deal with this year. And I tell you, a heck of a last 12 months this gentleman has had, and that's after knocking off perennial favorite Mart in the 2A Division II state championship finals. We welcome Chris Tackett of the Windthorst Trojans here with us. Coach Tackett, thank you so much for taking some time to visit with us here on Lawdog Sports.
Not a problem. Glad to be here.
Well, congratulations on that state title. You guys had an amazing season, full of drama and ups and downs, and man, came out shining like a diamond there at the end. And kudos to you, Coach. Great job of coaching. We know Windthorst is a perennial powerhouse program here in Texoma, and now people statewide know it. What's your afterthought on coming off of that state championship, since we didn't get a chance to visit with you afterwards?
I think, everybody is still enjoying it. It's just something that'll just stay in your memories, forever. And we can bring up, little tidbits from the season and from the state final game, and it's so many people were a part of it, and just a great group of kids, a great group of coaches, coming together, and we got all the way through it, and won that last game. Just, I can't say enough about how hard everybody worked.
You lost some valuable skill players, but you returned 7 starters on offense, 5 on defense, and you have quite a few talented players coming back.
Yeah. We're happy, where we are. And like you said, there's really no replacing, some of the guys that left. But you kind of go through this every year. Regardless of how that season ends, you've always got, those special players that you have to replace. And the guys that, I think the guys that are coming up really bought into the leadership last year, and they're trying to emulate that this year.
Well,
go ahead, Chuck. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, some of those young guys that you have that are returning that are headliners this year. Haven Veith, Landon McLemore, Zane Hackley, those guys, they're about to become household names. Who are some of the others you may be looking at this year?
I think if you go along where it all starts is our guys on the offensive line that are returning. Jaden Friddle, Adrian Larios, and Eddie Olivo, and those guys were in the trenches and in the big fights last year, and they come back to kind of anchor that offensive line to hopefully give us some quarterback protection and open up some running lanes.
Definitely. And, Coach, I tell you, last year you guys, and the last 2 years, you guys relied heavily on anybody named Belcher, seemed like. And
right, yeah.
They have moved on. And but I tell you guys, to me, the last 3 years, and this goes back to me and Jeremy Schroder's time getting this show started at KSEY, seems like Windthorst has just been kind of a reload and not necessarily a rebuild. Talk about the impact of your junior high and JV programs and what that gives your program to keep up this high standard.
We go into it, with our sub-varsity teams and just try to have a way to where they play all the games that they can, whether that means, getting an extra game in the open week. We've gone into games with, 11 and 12 kids, just to make sure they can play. So, we try to give them as much playing time as we can. We try to devote, their practice time. Not just send all the coaches are out there for junior high and JV. Trying to because we know one day that they're going to be the guys that are going to you're going to rely on Friday night.
Coach, your district is always tough. This year is no exception. Petrolia returns quite a bit, and we know Coach West is a great coach and going to have that team ready. And then I think maybe the prohibited favorite this year right now is Munster because of how much they return and how young they were last year. How do you see your district shaping up?
Yeah, I like to think we'll be in the mix, but like I said, Munster and Coach Carney does such a great job over there, and he's coming off a state title not too long ago, so those kids know how to win, and like I said, a guy like Coach West at Petrolia, he's going to have those guys ready to play every week.
Coach, looking back on the 2020 season and all of the headache that came along with us having football, and I say headache for you guys as it was so much, preparation, so much things going along with trying to have football during a pandemic. You guys dropped that game to Hamlin last year. What was your message to the team as you guys went forward and how you guys rebounded from that?
I think you want to win every game, but that Hamlin game, and we knew, they were coming off of going to the state championship, and so when we kind of I guess circled that game as going to kind of be we'll know where we are, and we came out of the game even though we lost. We came out of that game feeling that fix a few things. We might have, we'll have a better shot at winning that. And, but I think it gave us a sense of confidence that, hey, we can, we're playing with the state runner up from last year and probably should have won the game. But, the kids didn't get down about it. It kind of gave them a little bit of confidence in going forward.
Hey, Coach, you and I are both known to cause a little trouble at times. And here recently, we've been talking to some other coaches around the area, and we talked to Shad Hanna over at Archer City, and he was attacked by a murder hornet while he was on the air with us. And we have a feeling you might have had something to do with that. Are you aware of this situation?
No, I mean, I consider him one of my closest friends.
So you would not send murder hornets to go sting him while he interviews on Lawdog Sports. Is this correct?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, there we go. There's the first crack in the story. Also, Coach Guy over at Aldi said, unfortunately, you might owe him a little bit of that state title after they knocked out that running back for Hamlin last year. So, no, I tell you, it's wonderful the camaraderie you coaches have together here in Texoma and North Texas, and it's a lot of fun, and we're having a lot of fun doing these high school previews. Coach, the upcoming season, pretty tough non-district schedule you guys have again.
Right. I mean, it's I think that and you talk about what do you do with the junior high and JV? We try to schedule teams where we know we'll get the maximum amount of games, 2 junior high games in the JV, and so but that often requires us to kind of play up a classification, and so just so we can get those games in, and so we try to make sure when we're scheduling non-district that we can get those games and give us some teams that are win or lose, going to make us better for the district run and a chance to get into the playoffs.
Coach, I think one thing, people who may not be necessarily just real Windthorst fans, but people have been getting on to what we like to call your radio crew, the couple of guys that go up there, do the Facebook Live, broadcast the game. They're hilarious to listen to. They're hilarious to be around. I want to get your thoughts on kind of them being allowed to continue to do that this year and how that keeps the community and everybody kind of involved in Windthorst when you guys are on the road and they can't make it to the game.
Those 2 guys are spectacular, and we get nothing but great feedback from them. And we gave them a little raise over what they were getting last year. to continue doing that. And, I hope the state championship didn't go to their head. And, because they're kind of some divas now, and they're making they made some demands, and we felt compelled to go ahead and give that to them. So, but the great guys.
Never trust the media, Coach. Even when they're your own. Never trust the media.
Hey, some of them took advantage of their notoriety. So, hey, Coach, some of them took advantage of that notoriety and state title run to try to get on the school board too.
Well, that's okay too.
Hey, Coach, we got about a minute left, but we want to thank you so much for visiting with us, and congratulations again on that 2A state title. You guys played a whale of a game against like I said, a perennial favorite in Mart, and we know the kind of competition they bring. But it just goes to show you, once you get to Jerry World, it's the team that wants it the most. And you guys definitely showed out and did your thing, and it was wonderful to see, especially for this area. And I tell you, we wish you the best of luck. I just got to ask, and Cory, you know, we've been reading the previews for the Times Record News coming up. There's a cousin of some former players of yours that apparently is going to be slinging the ball quite a bit down to the south of you. If I find out he's transferring to Windthorst, I'm going to start an NCAA investigation.
Once again, I cannot confirm or deny if any paperwork is.
Oh, Coach, you're amazing.
Process.
Hey, Coach, thanks again for your time, and appreciate you stopping and visiting with us. And good luck to you on this season. And if we get a chance to check in with you again, we'd love to hear from you.
All right, please do. Hey, I sure appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a great one. Coach,
all right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Chris Tackett of the Windthorst Trojans there with us on Lawdog Sports on SportsTalk 1230. Cory, we are over. That was a lot of fun. He's a good interview.
Oh, he is just awesome. He's an awesome person. He's a great coach and a great staff. It's just a fun group to be around.
Well, when we come back, we're going to get into some higher-level sports as NBA Summer League's going on, NFL preseason's going on, and the Field of Dreams game went on last night. And we'll ask Jeremy Schroder what he thinks about the Thunder's #1 draft pick hitting a three and then getting hurt. Lawdog Sports. Sports Talk for the Texas Rolling Plains. Sports Talk 1230. Seymour, Wichita Falls. Lawdog Sports back here with you on a Friday. Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog on Sports Talk 1230. Streaming live on lawdogsports.com and Facebook live at Sports Talk 1230. Chuck Ramsey, Jeremy Schroder, Master of the Airways, and Cory Hogue from LoneStarSportsDaily.com. We want to thank head coach Chris Tackett of the Windthorst Trojans for visiting with us in that first segment. That's going to be an interview we marked down in the archives there. That was a lot of fun. So state champions, the only state champions in the area, so he's riding high, but guarantee you he's putting in the work, Cory.
Oh, definitely. Their summer program is robust. They get more kids out for their summer than some teams that are larger than them have at all in their program total. And I just want to say, you called Jeremy Master of the Airwaves. You're right. You should call me Master of Nothing. I just, dabble here and there.
Well, Jeremy is the final say on whether people get to fly or not. So that's why he's the Master of the Airways. And, We'll see if we can make him the Master of the Airwaves. That would be great as well. And hey,
I want to cool. Yeah, get paid for this. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, there may come a day. We'll see. But also, I want to send out my apologies to Emily Bjorklund of KUZ News Channel 6 Sports, as I unfairly have used her picture on our SoundCloud page at Sports Talk 1230 AM one too many times. She's picked up on the gist that we would rather run her out front as the face of Lawdog Sports than any of me or Cory.
Well, there's a shock. I mean, who would rather see us over Emily? Hello.
Yeah. I said you on TV, pretty young lady, or a face made for radio right here. So, no, but anyways, it's, if you missed that interview with Coach Chris Tackett, be sure and go to our SoundCloud page at Sports Talk 1230 AM, or go to lawdogsports.com and go to the podcast section and subscribe to our podcast on the platform of your choice. Guys, yesterday, the Rangers lost a day game, which really doesn't surprise anyone. They, I was looking at their stats since the All-Star break, and I don't know what the records are for most anemic offenses in half of a season, but it has definitely gone downhill. But the offense was on display last night in the Field of Dreams game, and I tell you, boys, yours truly got pretty misty when Kevin Costner came walking out of that corn, I'll just say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was awesome. I was more I don't know. I think it hit me more when the players walked out of the corn, because it was just like, bam, that scene from the movie when, all the players came out.
Yeah, big moment.
But the stat that got me most, Tim Anderson with the walk-off, that's the first time that the White Sox have hit a walk-off home run against the Yankees since shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, I saw that
was the last one to do it.
Yeah, amazing stat.
That is incredible.
It was something that, and I put out on Twitter that it rekindled my love of baseball, and it really did, because baseball is a game that you can get real pessimistic with real quick, especially when you're a Rangers fan and you're hoping for 50 wins during the season. But last night, it really brought back why I love the game. You have a field out in the middle of nowhere that's just gorgeous. The scenes, the pictures, the sunset last night. Did you guys notice that? Like, the sunset was a perfect sunset for a baseball game. There's no other sport you get views like that in. You go to hockey arena, NBA arenas, it all looks the same. Football stadiums, whatever. Nothing is like baseball.
I had just a moment of, yes, Joey Gallo hit that rocket right back up the middle. Shit. That's why I hate baseball.
Okay,
they got the shift on with the bases loaded.
Yeah, the shift is.
Hate that.
They should have banned the shift. And man, I was about to hit the profanity delay there for a minute.
One other thing too, Gallo, that first at bat in the first inning when him against Lance Lynn, two former Rangers there, he hits that ball to center field wall, nearly without when that ball launched off his bat. Lance Lynn's face was like, oh.
Yeah,
it would only have been better if Anthony Rizzo had not tested positive for COVID. I would have enjoyed it more anyways.
Well, I tell you what, Giancarlo Stanton is he's channeling his inner 70s and with that cheesy mustache, but he took the lead in the top of the ninth, and then the dramatics ensued. And congratulations to Miguel Cairo for getting I couldn't ever figure out if they came to a decision. Is that Tony La Russa's win or is that Miguel Cairo's win?
They're counting Cairo as the interim manager, so it should be his win.
Nice. Lance Lynn on display there, and Rugi Odor causing some extra breeze in Iowa last night as he did his typical hack shack, whatever you want to call it. I tell you guys, the bone I got to pick with anybody on this whole ordeal is one commentator for Texas Rangers baseball, and that's Jared Sandler, as he took to Twitter last night and said that the game was much better in the movie, and then commenced with the whole stand on how overrated the movie was. If you look at Field of Dreams and say it's overrated as a baseball movie, you need to do some introspection and check your soul, because that movie is just all-time classic in my book.
Yes, it was. You would have to do some introspection. Yes,
there you go.
It was a great movie. It was. James Earl Jones, for the love of God, was amazing in that movie.
Yeah.
I could just, I love his voice anyways.
The speech about America alone is just enough to give you chills.
Exactly.
And then Jared Sandler, going at it.
Chuck Heston is Moonlight Graham.
And John Smoltz channeling Moonlight Graham last night. Did you catch that?
Nope.
Yeah, in the booth, John Smoltz was dressed just like Moonlight Graham. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah, okay. He was. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed they were all dressed turn of the century, and Joe Buck annoying me the entire game.
Well, there's that. So
can't have baseball without Joe Buck, right?
Oh, yeah.
Corey, you asked last night why he was so close to that hotel manager. I was just gonna hit back,
Lord.
But I couldn't find the tweet. He thought he was Clayton Kershaw.
So the Field of Dreams game gets big time. I would imagine. I haven't heard ratings on it, but the social media buzz around it was huge. And this is while preseason football's going on, and Jalen Hurts is up there trying to establish himself in Philadelphia, and Cam Newton's fending off the heir apparent to Tom Brady in New England. A lot of football last night, guys, and with something that Corey and I and here's the thing. For those of you that watch us on YouTube or on Facebook, you get a little bonus content because we're always yakking in between segments and before the show. But something we threw out before the show and didn't actually make the air was that Sam Ehlinger is taking first-team reps in Indianapolis with the Colts, and that team being without their all-pro guard, is his name Corey Nelson or anyway? So them being without an all-pro guard and the running game probably going to be hindered a little bit. Ehlinger's concussion problems could significantly increase, just saying, because for a kid that couldn't get the timing right on Big 12 secondary, these guys and the pros are probably going to eat him alive.
Well, first off, I thought it was odd that right after they announced Ehlinger being better than the backup, and me just going ahead and penciling in Indianapolis for the number 1 pick in next year's draft, I thought it was very odd that both Wentz and the guard are now, who originally were expected to be out 12 weeks, they're now saying they could be back to start the season. Hey, guys, we're going to put some painkillers in you. We have no choice.
Shoot
the
that leg
Colts
up.
is a strange organization. They really downplayed the Manning neck injury. He never played again. They downplayed Luck's, a shoulder or abdominal injury. Mm-hmm. He never played again. Yeah, this could be one of those deals. And Philip Rivers said he's willing to come back.
If they don't want to spend the season,
get on the phone.
If they don't want to spend the season running the wing T, they might want to give old man River a call.
Philip's just trying to get away from his 28 children. That's all it is.
The kids at home, he's like, this ain't for me. But no, with baseball being such, and here's the thing, and Corey, next Wednesday, we've got to put John Moore from the Rangers Nation podcast. We've got to put his feet to the fire. As a Rangers affiliate and Rangers fan, we got to start finding out when this young talent's going to start getting some major league at bats. I know there'll be a time when they can call up more players and things like that, but I mean, they're basically fielding a AAA team out there offensively.
We already know the answer.
You got 17 days till September.
Yeah,
that's when rosters expand.
Hey, you guys are missing it. You guys are missing it.
Okay.
When will they get major league at bats? When they get traded to other teams. For example, last night we had Lance Lynn, Joely Rodriguez, Rugi Odor, Joey Gallo in the Field of Dreams game.
Yeah.
Did you hear him talking about the Yankees playoff share meeting? They've had so many COVID cases, guys shuttling back and forth to AAA. There's like 70 guys that are going to get a playoff share.
Well, and, I can remember a time when I think Zach Britton was considered a pretty upper echelon closer or reliever, and they were pretty much touting him to give up the game before he threw his first pitch.
And so was anyone who watched Craig Kimbrell come out there, the pterodactyl.
I believe I called that blown safe. I thought Kimbrell would blow it.
Yeah, instead Liam Hendricks maybe spent too much time out there amongst the corn. And I'll tell you something, people. One thing you need to realize is
it was that feed corn he ate.
That's what I was going to say. Probably got a little stir in his gut. But here's the thing. Everybody talks so great about Field of Dreams and all the corn involved. In the 80s, I remember a different movie about corn, and it wasn't near as pleasant. And that's Malachi and Children of the Corn. So I had a few flashbacks.
Down, Malachi.
What you do, Malachi?
Well, one thing about that field last night, though, there is no real other game scheduled for Major League Baseball there, but that grass was absolutely pristine. Like they were talking about how it felt like a turf field. It looked like a turf field. They did an outstanding job just putting that together. It was so well done, and I think it did everything justice. And now, as I said before when we were talking, Major League Baseball will now have a labor stoppage because we cannot have anything good or positive with Major League Baseball last for very long.
We've got about. Go ahead.
I had this thought last night. Can you imagine Mike Kopech if he was still able to use the foreign substances? That guy. 100 miles an hour with movement and that slider. Oh my goodness!
I thought I would have some audio here, but I wasn't able to edit it in time. But looked like a certain Brewers pitcher was going full blown Kerry Wood on the Cubs the other night as Corbin Burns
The Cubs are terrible.
10 straight strikeouts on the Cubs, and I guess
I think they scored something like 4 runs in the last 6 games. They're terrible.
Yeah,
it's awful.
I guess that's
let's just have the Rangers and Cubs play an interleague series for the remainder of the year, and then maybe Jeremy and I will have a team that every now and then pulls out a victory if they don't just.
I don't know. I think they could find a. I think they both could find a way to lose.
Just figure out a way. Figure out a way that I don't have to root for the Astros again, if you don't mind. So, Lawdog Sports on Sports Talk 1230. Chuck Ramsey, Jeremy Schroder, and Cory Hogue from LoneStarSportsDaily.com. Quick break. Your Texas Motor Speedway update, and we'll be right back. The place for Lawdog Sports and Sports Map Radio. Sports Talk 1230. Seymour, Wichita Falls. Lawdog Sports on Sports Talk 1230. The Weekend Big Show on a Friday. Chuck Ramsey, Jeremy Schroder, Cory Hogue. The Unholy Triumvirate rides again. Be sure and follow us on social media at Sports Talk 1230 and subscribe to the podcast portion on SoundCloud at Sports Talk 1230 AM, or go to lawdogsports.com and check us out on the podcast platform of your choice. And guys, I tell you, and Cory kind of broke this towards the end of our show on Wednesday. We'll get into it, but college football is definitely becoming a situation, I guess you could say fluid situation, as something pops up every day, things change every day. And we mentioned off the air about how now the name and image likeness is kicking in, and some teams are getting some sponsorships here and there. And if you follow Twitter, you see all these. But apparently Texas Tech, the offensive line's been sponsored by an entity, and Ryan Hyatt, I think, was talking about that yesterday on his show in Lubbock.
Double Eagle Energy
sponsoring the entire offensive line. I went to high school. Well, I went to the same school as their offensive line coach in Lubbock, Steve Farmer. His older brother was my age. We graduated together. I didn't really remember Steve, but he's done a pretty good job recruiting out there. Cory, and I'm sure you following high school football, and Jeremy and I might have even talked about this, but a couple of years ago, they recruited a 7-foot, 365 kid from Wellington. Robertson, I think his name was. So I'll be interested to see if they can turn some West Texas talent into some Big 12 talent. But we'll see what the sponsorship brings them, and what they, if the whole team's sponsored, what's your 1099 look like, I wonder?
Well, are they required to claim that for taxes?
Yeah, you would, I think.
I would just like to say that, speaking of unholy, we've had BYU in the news with some NIL, and Baylor in the news with something worse than the NIL here lately. This
is the opportunity we want to say where the opinions and viewpoints of those on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of Sports Talk 1230, KSCY FM, or any of its entities. So there's that. And that might get pre-recorded for next week. So
what, are we going to beat up on the Baptists? We love the Baptists here.
Well, and go ahead, Cory.
Well, we were going to beat up on the Baptists, and then I actually give kudos to BYU. They have a donor that's going to come out and give tuition and pay tuition for all the walk-ons, which that is the best thing that I've heard come out of this NIL the other day. But as we went off the air Wednesday, the NCAA released the findings, or lack of findings, on Art Briles, and Art Briles and his attorney claimed victory and innocence, which was not brought out by that. And just a horrible situation. They did not make it any better on Wednesday.
Well, and I watched the Outside the Lines kind of recap of the whole thing yesterday, because I have to have things explained to me, in da. But, and Jeremy Schaap, I live off of that guy. Not really, but, here's
Brian
the
Gumbel's
thing.
Still on there?
Who?
Brian Gumbel.
No, that's Real Sports.
Oh, sorry.
Anyways.
My bad.
So anyways, here's the thing. The fact that I think they use the phrase incurious manner of Art Briles' at CAB. We refuse to mention his name, and we don't want to offend the folks to our southwest of the station. But here's the thing. The incurious attitude towards the allegations, and then also the fact that the lack of reporting for the athletics department was consistent with the lack of reporting for the entire campus. What in the name of Blue Blazes are they getting at there? I mean, that's like that movie The Purge, where murder's, you're a murderer, but it's okay because everybody's murdering. I just don't.
Well, the football team was making a lot of money at the time, Chuck.
Gotta make that money, I guess.
They had gone from irrelevant to relevant. And look, I do not care if I offend anyone who wants to support CAB. If you want to support him and defend him in this, I want to offend you, because there is no defending what was allowed to happen, what he knew was happening, and systemic wide. Like, the whole university is to blame for this. It is not just CAB. And that's why Ken Starr, another one who, has had his name in the news for years, he was fired because of it. It was a whole change. If you remember, everything at Baylor changed from that to Matt Rule. And now they seem to be they seem to be on a better path. But how horrible were they for so long there under CAB in that administration?
And it resulted in less than a slap on the wrist. They got 5 years of probation, sure, but they lost a little bit of recruiting time off campus. A little bit of recruiting time
for 1
on
year.
campus
That's it.
For 1 year.
And
5 years probation, no bowl bans.
Another thing that they threw out in the Outside the Lines report, guys, was that the NCAA felt like they received a lot of backlash for their harsh treatment of Penn State. Are you kidding me?
What? There were children involved at Penn State. You know what? They should have taken that whole program and said, it's done.
Victims.
Death penalty. Like, they gave SMU the death penalty. Penn State could have easily gotten the death penalty.
For doing what's totally legal now, they gave SMU.
Exactly.
Oh, but look, here's the other problem with the NCAA. They're getting a constitution meeting. If their constitution does not say that allowing sexual assault and abuse of children or child sexual assault, all that stuff is not against their rules, and you cannot be punished for it, then why are they even having NCAA?
Yeah.
They said
it's
Baylor
the most hypocritical
and CAB,
organization on the planet. It needs to go away.
I think it might be, guys. I think with the moves that are being made, I think it's all a
SEC. It's the only time you're ever going to hear it.
Sign me up. I mean, we'll all turn to the east and pray to Greg Sankey and whatever it takes, But guys, on a serious note, I think we are seeing the irrelevancy of the NCAA, and they're doing it to themselves. And so, like you said, Jeremy, a program got the death penalty for doing what's basically been going on in the SEC for 20 years now, but now is just totally condoned. And, this situation that we're seeing now with this Baylor outcome, the fact that it's the NCAA, and here's the thing. The University of Miami, the round 2 investigation proved to all these campuses that, in essence, the NCAA has no teeth. And
look, the NCAA gave a death penalty for paying players to play for you and play well. Okay, but they don't give a death penalty for abuse of children, and they don't give a death penalty for abuse of women. So basically, the NCAA could care less about women and children. That's kind of what I gain out of this.
You could probably make that claim.
That's right. It doesn't hurt the bottom line, right?
Yeah. I guess really these programs look at it and say, well, we may face some backlash. Of course, I would think that CAB is toxic property no matter what. Surely, I don't know.
Somebody will give him a chance.
As well he should be. The man should never coach again.
He's not at that school in East Texas anymore, is he?
No, he's not. He resigned because he thought he was getting a Liberty job, if I remember correctly.
He was at Mount Vernon last year. And let's see, I'm trying to remember where he went to. I know he went somewhere. I think he went somewhere else. But, there will be a school, and it won't be probably a large FBS program, a Power 5. There will be a college that will give him a chance. Look at Bobby Petrino. He keeps getting a chance.
Western Kentucky.
If they keep giving these guys chances, and they do, they could care less about anything but winning, and that's just a bad message.
Is anything Bobby Petrino did come in even in the ballpark compared to CAB?
No, it's not. But I mean, it was still wrong.
That's just a whole different kind of dirtbag.
Well, it was Arkansas, guys. Come on.
I know. It was his cousin on the back of that motorcycle.
Once again, the viewpoints and opinions of the participants of this show do not necessarily. No, I tell you guys, and we're seeing this come to full fruition, I think. And this is why, probably we're looking at a situation where a team like Baylor is going to be left out of a lot of this consolidation and annexation of big conferences and things like that, because first of all, it's going to be tough for anybody to want to touch that after a school has that kind of history.
Wasn't Art Browse hired by a Canadian League football team to be the offensive coordinator?
And got let go once the Canadians got wind of it. They said, they're not taking that hoser, eh?
Then he resigned after losing in the semifinals to Jim Ned. Was that an ego blow for you there, Mr. Browse?
Yeah, eventual state champions. So I don't know. I mean, it's just he's one of those guys. He's at an age. Just go be Art. Just go sit.
He's 65. Go sit on your porch.
Go be CAB.
Go away.
You got your pay from Baylor.
He is who he is. He is who he was this way at Stephenville. You guys might not remember when he coached at Stephenville High School, but there's movies made about how bad he was at Stephenville that they call fiction.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's move on to something. Let's move on to something a little better. As like we said, the NFL preseason started last night, and it had been going, but it started in earnest. And
Week 2.
We talked about Hard Knocks on Monday, and then last night the Steelers roll out Dwayne Haskins may get rebirth, guys.
He looked good last night.
Getting away from DC and going to Pittsburgh, and that probably does not bode well for one former OSU Cowboy, Mason Rudolph.
But Rudolph also looked good last night, so they might have a decent quarterback room at Pittsburgh for once.
It was the Eagles. I'm a Steelers fan.
It's still an NFL team. It's still an NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, you want – hey, that's the thing, preseason's no win. If you go out and perform good, it's like, oh, it's a preseason. And then if they perform bad, it's like, oh, they're terrible, I got to say –
I just think the NFC East is bad other than maybe Washington.
Well, they are.
Honest.
That's true.
But also Pittsburgh was 11-0 at one point last year, and look how that ended.
Pittsburgh was not good last year. I'm not going to – they were decent for the first part of the season, but they were not – it was some big fluff and everything is all their record was to get that undefeated. They were not a serious contender.
There was some fool's gold involved for sure, but I tell you guys, one thing about it too is like look at the teams that had opt-outs last year, look at the condensed schedules and the no
Speaking of
camps.
opt-outs last year, Charles.
Go ahead.
New England Patriots.
Yeah.
They lost their entire defense last year. Did you watch their game last night?
I did not get to see it. I was watching the Field of Dreams game, Jeremy.
Oh, okay. Well, Ramondre Stevenson from running back University of Oklahoma. He dropped off a little 92-yard run.
Yeah, he's got some wheels.
Didn't know he had that kind of speed.
On the Patriots, and this is something that Corey and I will have to get into with MJ Baird on Monday. Jeremy's lived this for his entire career as an OU fan, and I have as well. The second-string quarterback's always the savior. And this year, Cam goes in there, has some pedestrian numbers, and then Mac Jones goes in there and plays pretty well. These fans in New England, I think they're ready to move on from the Cam Newton effect.
He's not a fit for that system.
Okay.
Fit for that system is Charlie Checkdown. Mac Jones, he's there. He's that guy.
Corey?
Yeah, Cam didn't play bad for us. 49 yards, very limited action. Mac Jones had a really good night for him. I mean, considering it's his real first thing here, but I got to say, is Cam Newton not the guy? You would think Brian Hoyer would be perfect for that system, but he seems to be failing.
Sam Bradford.
The Chiefs last year.
Check down Charlie brought back memories of Sam Bradford. Lawdog Sports on SportsTalk 1230. Chuck Ramsey, Jeremy Schroder, Cory Hogue. One last segment to go here on the Weekend Big Show. Don't forget to tune in this afternoon at 4 for the Evening Fire with Jaron Spohr from KFDX Channel 3 and Zach Davis, the fireman, as they will recap the weekend sports for you as well. The Evening Fire every Friday at 4 right here on SportsTalk 1230. We'll be right back.
This is Brian Jensen, voice of Texas Tech football. Now back to Lawdog Sports with the Lawdog, Chuck Ramsey, on AM 1230. Wreckham Tech.
Lawdog Sports here with you on a Weekend Big Show. Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, Jeremy Schroder, Master of the Airways, and Cory Hogue, LoneStarSportsDaily.com, Times Record News, and Dave Campbell's Texas Football. and our final segment of the Weekend Big Show here with you. We stream live on Facebook. You get to see all of our pretty faces there on our Zoom call as we stream it live on Facebook at SportsTalk 1230. And for those of you who normally see me and Corey on Fridays, you get to witness our own rendition of Jimmy Garoppolo right here on the Oily Bohunk Network. So anyways, I'm telling you, I've seen a couple pop up that are watching. It's like, yeah, I could, throw the eye candy out there. So, hey, oh yeah. I bet we could have topped 1,000 subscribers if he would have done some curls and some trap work, So, anyways, Lawdog Sports here with you on the Weekend Big Show. And guys, we were talking about football in the previous segment, preseason. Colleges are in their first week of fall camp. And so here's the thing. Corey brought up a good point while you stepped out for a second, Jeremy, is check down Charlie is a prominent thing in the NFL, and Ryan Fitzmagic apparently did his thing last night for the Washington football team.
He didn't play much, but he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Steven Montez got more time, whoever that is.
Yeah.
And, and the knock on Fitzpatrick has never been that he's a check down guy. It's just that he takes too many chances. Too many.
He's a Ben Roethlisberger, but a lot less money in his pocket.
A little less arm too. So
he likes to write checks that arm can't cash. You're right.
But I tell you guys, this NFL season is going to be interesting because, and Corey and I talked about this on Monday, and Jeremy, I kind of want to get your quick take on this, but the first episode of Hard Knocks really seemed to exemplify the sense of urgency that's in Cowboys camp. And I think Dan Quinn coming in, and they will improve on defense. I don't see how they could do anything but improve. But, Dak Prescott, hopefully for the Cowboys and the Cowboys faithful, these Texas Rangers doctors can get his throwing arm figured out, whatever the case is. Keep him healthy, running game, offensive line. They've got playmakers at receiver. I think Corey and I gleaned from Jerry's, behavior, I guess, so to speak, on the show. They feel like this year's all or nothing.
Well, and it should be. There's no reason they should not win the NFC least. They have a good offensive line. Zeke, I'm told Zeke is great. I haven't seen it since his rookie year. They have playmakers on the outside. A full offseason under Dan Quinn, who's a defensive guru, and that defense should be pretty daggone good. They tweeted out the other day that they were doing another MRI on Dak's shoulder.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it.
They didn't say shoulder.
Oh, on his
arm.
Just said MRI. Oh, okay.
Guys, here's the thing. Here's what I've been picking up on, because I've been processing a lot of that Hard Knocks over and over again, because they never said shoulder. They said arm. That kind of said elbow a little bit. They're talking about overuse injury. So are we talking Tommy John?
Well, once you have the shoulder, which was they said it was a shoulder sprain, right? Once he starts throwing again, if he's not ready, that elbow's going to take more of the brunt of that. So, yeah, we could be talking Tommy John. He could have.
Oh, there's the whole season gone right there. And now Jerry's got to try to eat some more McGriddles with salt.
Yeah.
He better get on the phone with Phil Rivers.
Jerry's got that diet by Chuck going on there with the McGriddles and stuff. But no,
that sounds good.
Salt. He poured salt on it.
Yeah,
he's like,
is there not enough sodium in the McGriddle?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, dude,
it's like,
he's shaking from too much sodium. He's not shaking because
he's retaining all the water.
I thought he was a bad alcoholic all this time, and he actually just has too high a sodium intake. But no, we'll see what happens in their second preseason game coming up, and this NFL preseason all leading up to a potential
tonight.
Yep.
They play tonight
Arizona
at 9:00 out in Arizona against maybe Kyler Murray. I mean, we know we won't see Dak, but guys, if Dak is out for the season, honestly, who is going to be in that quarterback spot?
Yeah.
And what do you do after this? I mean, the guy's obviously he's proven he can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
it just gave him a contract.
Yeah, you just signed him to his big deal. Yeah, guys, I tell you, it's one of those situations where this could be worst case scenario if it ends up being something like that. Because what do you do? I mean, that's in essence 2 full seasons.
You draft a quarterback.
Yeah, you got to go get somebody. But
I mean, basically you're in Jimmy G territory.
You might have to give up a future how many first round picks it takes to get a trade.
Well,
honestly,
if Dak doesn't play this year, they're not going to have a problem getting a high pick.
Does Phillip Rivers have to clear waivers before the Cowboys could claim him?
I don't think. No, I don't know if he was put on the reserve retired list by the Colts and they still own his rights. Not sure if it's a Brett Favre situation.
Talk about
it. Hey, could tank for Spencer Rattler.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Guys, maybe, because Jerry's not afraid to do this.
Yeah.
Is it possible that a quarterback from Green Bay ends up getting traded down to the Cowboys with what's going on up there?
I'm going to say that is not possible.
Ooh.
I believe it's more likely that Tony Romo comes back than Aaron Rodgers ends up back in the.
All right, let's move on to NBA Summer League real quick. As the Summer League has been going on, and I kind of teased Jeremy at the beginning of the show. The Oklahoma City Thunder #1 draft pick, Josh Giddey, looked great for about
not so giddy right now.
The first 2 minutes of a quarter,
he's fine,
and then commenced to go out after a thunderous dunk and a great 3-pointer. But guys, I tell you what, the NBA definitely getting their money's worth in this Summer League. As the other night, I saw as the Pistons took on the Rockets, it was the Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Green show. That was some pretty entertaining basketball right there. I will say that.
And it may be a blessing in disguise that Giddey got hurt, so now Presti can take him and Pokashevsky and handcuff him to the buffet at the hometown buffet over there on Northwest Expressway and get about 15, 20 pounds on them.
They always talk about how the NBA is not as popular. Their summer league games are being shown on ESPN.
Yeah,
there is some popularity to it. And the other thing, Jeremy may have noticed this, being the golf guy that he is. J.R. Smith is gone back to college. J.R. Smith is going to play golf at North Carolina A&T.
Good for him.
I think that's really cool.
Now,
I'm kind of excited to see it.
He does have to wear a shirt on the golf course. That's the
now.
kicker.
Is he going to have? Is he going to have the Hennessy in the golf bag?
Is he what? The Hennessy.
Going to have the Hennessy in the golf bag.
The Hennessy can be in the cart. I don't think it can be in the bag. So,
okay, well, they don't get. Well, hey, Muni rules, right? Maybe
hey guys,
have the big the tube with the ice and the hen in it.
That's right.
Straw.
Me being the big Spurs fan I couldn't help but notice that last night on the highlights that second-year player and second-round pick out of Duke, Trey Jones for the San Antonio Spurs, reeled off a 34-point night and won the game on a 0.4-second layup left in the game. Spurs are making some moves, but I will say this. I am so disheartened with the Spurs fan base right now, segments of the Spurs fan base. As, we see this deal, and we've got about 3 minutes to get on this parenting rant that I have. But, between this dad that allowed his kid to curse at Kawhi Leonard at a Summer League game and then posted it and called his kid 100% savage, and then I gotta say, and I'll probably make some people mad in the listening area if they hear this, but there's a kid that was playing for the Abilene Little League team that sat there and just acted flabbergasted at a strike call in the regionals of the Little League World Series, and I tell you, we've got to teach these kids more respect. It's getting to the point now where I don't care if Kawhi came and knocked down a wall in your house. Well, that might be a little much, but you know what I'm saying. Just because Kawhi left and didn't play his last season in San Antonio, there's no reason to let your kid go up and give him the F-bomb. And then, baseball is a game of traditions. And if a kid's going to stand there at the plate acting flabbergasted at a strike, somebody needs to pull him aside and say something.
Okay, well,
they're just emulating what they're seeing on television, and no one's correcting it.
Yeah.
In defense of the kid, I was a bit flabbergasted because that ball was outside.
Don't matter.
But
does not matter.
You know what?
That as well.
At that age, walk back to the dugout. Yeah. Let your coach deal with it.
He wasn't even struck out.
Here's my question. Is he not allowed to disagree? He's allowed to, but he didn't say
arguing
anything.
Balls and strikes, Corey.
He didn't say anything though. He just made a facial reaction, and then he got ready.
Angel Hernandez would have thrown him out.
Angel,
now, the other kid,
Angel Ramsey would have tossed him.
The other kid, Chuck, you're dead on with the Spurs kid.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And that is what, look, let's just break it down. What's wrong with sports, and especially youth sports, are parents.
Yeah.
It always has been, and it gets worse.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, I would be ashamed if my kid was up there, especially going viral, carrying on like that over a strike. I mean, that is just not a good optic. I don't care who it is or what it is.
He went too long, but I mean, I don't blame him for giving a look.
Angel Ramsey would have tossed that kid. So, anyways.
So would Joe Ramsey.
That's right. Guys, a lot of fun. Thanks so much for being here with me on the Weekend Big Show. Jeremy, be safe out there. Cory, have a great weekend. I'll be looking forward to more previews coming up for you in the Times Record News. We'll be promoting that as well.
Have a great weekend, guys. Stay cool.
All right.
See y'all.
Jeremy, take care. Lawdog Sports, Sports Talk 1230 coming up. It's Sports Map Radio here, and then your noon Ag-Remarket block here on Sports Talk 1230. Be sure to tune in for the Evening Fire this afternoon at 4 with Jaron Sport from KFDX Channel 3 and Zach Davis, the fireman.